Well, hello there, young man. I knelt down next to the child. My name is Susie. What's your name? I'm Aiden, it proclaimed proudly. That's a lovely name, Aiden. Would you like to play with me? Okay. I know a fun game, but you can't tell anyone. It's a secret. Can you keep a secret? Yes! Okay, now follow me and I'll show you where we can play. I'll drive you there. I guided the child to my car and it strapped itself in the back seat. It excitedly questioned me as I drived. Where are we going? To the forest. We're going to play a game with the other children there. What's the game called? Dirt. I stopped the car on an old dirt track, at the point where the path became too narrow to continue driving. We have to walk from here. The car won't fit through the trees. It's not far. It skipped alongside me for the remainder of the way there. Then we reached the spot, a large, grassless patch of soil surrounded by thickets of trees. Next to one of the few trees that stood within the clearing, there was a shallow hole, just shy of 2 feet deep, a pile of displaced earth sitting next to it. Here it is. We can play now. How do we play? You hide in that hole and count to 10. Then the other children will get here. It cautiously climbed down into the hole, making sure not to fall. It covered its eyes and began to count slowly. 1, 2, 3. I walked over to the hole, put my hand on its head and shoved it down. It cried out as it fell, bruising itself on the gravel at the bottom of the hole. I pushed my hand down on its chest, pinning it down. It screamed, but we were too far away from any others for it to be heard. I pushed it further down into the dirt as it tried to wriggle free, but its flailing was futile. I grabbed the small spade from my free hand, putting my weight onto the child. I used the spade to scrape the dirt in the pile back into the hole. I covered up its legs first, to put it beyond the capability of escaping. I hit the dirt down with the spade, making sure it was packed properly. It was. Good. You don't want the hole to be too shallow, or the dirt won't be heavy enough to keep the child trapped. Too deep, and your arm won't be long enough to hold the child down as you cover it. Just under 2 feet was the ideal depth. I began to work around the outside of the hole first, covering the chest last so I could keep my hand on it. I hummed to myself as I scraped the dirt into the hole. After a few minutes of work, the screams were muffled when the face was finally covered. They were silenced completely shortly after. The arms were still above the surface, flailing frantically, but in futility. Although it wasn't completely covered, it still couldn't get free. Dirt is much heavier than it seems. I stood up and used the larger shovel to fill the remainder of the hole. The child's chest gradually disappeared under the dirt. Then the frantic arms became shorter. Eventually, they were covered completely, and eventually, the hole was filled. I used the shovel to pat down the mound of soil, making sure it was packed solidly. It was. Good. Nothing is more satisfying than a good job done well. They'd usually last no more than a couple of minutes underground, so it should have suffocated by now. I gathered my tools and started back to the car, walking past the neat row of mounds in the dirt.